I want to tell you a little bit about my past because I grew up in Israel and I know it's controversial. But first, the point is, why is it controversial? Because other people has made it the way it is, and then other people who just grew up there and was born there have to take the controversy upon them? No, because let me tell you, there's a lot of countries out there who are controversial, like Europe and the US and Canada and Australia and South Africa, and you name it. There's such a huge list of countries who still live off other countries. Now, I'm not saying it because I'm a Zionist, because I'm not. And even that people need to look at, because my grandpa was a Zionist, but he didn't even know people were there, because that's a part of his story people dropped in order to convince him to leave everything he had. He just dreamt of something that in his eyes was his home. I don't even know if really Israel is the home of anyone. Obviously, Palestinians were born there and therefore it's their home. Why is it not my home if I was born there? You see, that's where the question starts. It's like, oh, because your parents was forcing themselves on arriving there. But actually, someone forced them into arriving there, which was, in my mom's case, Arab countries where my grandparents lived in, which is Libya. And in my dad's case, it's just because they were Jewish and they were nowhere to go, and that's something that people don't want to look at. But this is not the subject. The subject is that I grew up in a place that people are fed with hate and separation, and telling them continuously that they're hated and their enemies want to kill them. And it's crazy because in Europe you can just walk from one country to another. There's not really even a borders, really. In Israel, in the Middle East, if you cross the border, you'll be freaking lynched. And so that feeling that you were like closed off by hating faces and hating nations, which is wasn't and isn't really still the reality. It's just what these governments want to paint so they can gain off of that. Obviously, somebody's going to lose something if everybody in the Middle East would be living in love. And let me tell you, it is so possible. But that's exactly that point of view that I went against the grain with, because the grain where I grew up is to hate others and to think the Arabs are less and to fight with them and to think that they deserve this and that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a kid who get battered at home and get battered by life. I don't want to give that to anyone. I don't care who they are, and I don't care what people say I should and need to think. Now, mind you, that not everybody thinks like that, and not everybody educates children to think like that. There are plenty of those voices, let me tell you that. So the fact that I chose something else was already a big thing, not just for me, for everybody around me, because it showed them that there's another possibility. And even if I was hated or mocked at, or people call me a dreamer or telling me I should go abroad because that John Lennon stuff doesn't work where I come from, it doesn't matter, because I stuck to my truth. And I stuck to my love to humans, and I stuck to I'm not God and I'm not the judge, and I don't walk in people's shoes, so therefore I don't know where they come from. And I highly advise you